I welcome you all to today's talk series episode. Myself Chinnu, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Commerce and Management, NSM Cherthala. Today, in this session, we will be dealing with the topic number sense, which is a basic topic that comes under business mathematics, which is not only useful for students but also for those who are preparing for competitive examinations. Now, let us directly move to our topic, number sense. First of all, let us see what is meant by number. A number is a topic that comes under mathematics, which means to measure or count. In our day-to-day life, we all deal with various kinds of numbers, knowingly or unknowingly. For example, we all deal with various kinds of numbers which comes in newspapers, televisions, radios, etc. For example, in the form of numbers that appears in newspapers in the form of prices, amounts, dates, etc. In the present situation, we all deal with various numbers that are related with the corona cases daily. Also, in this IPL season, we all check the scores of our favorite teams daily, isn't it? It is also a kind of numbers. In general, the decimal number system is used by all of us, which consists of 10 numbers ranging from 0 to 9. Now, let us see the types of numbers. Numbers can be classified into various types, but here we are using the basic classification. In the basic classification, numbers are classified into two categories, that is, real numbers as well as complex numbers. Real numbers are again classified into two categories, rational numbers as well as irrational numbers. Rational numbers are again divided into two categories, that is, integers as well as fractions. Integers are again divided into two categories, whole numbers as well as zero. Fractions are generally of two types, proper fractions and improper fractions. Whole number consists of natural numbers as well as zero. Natural numbers are further divided into 6 headings, that is, even numbers, odd numbers, prime numbers, Coprime numbers, composite numbers as well as perfect numbers. Now let us see this in detail. First one is real numbers. Real numbers is a combination of rational numbers and irrational numbers. Numbers which can be quantified and represented by a unique point on the number line are called real numbers. Real numbers are generally denoted by the letter R. Real numbers includes all those numbers except complex numbers. Please look into the figure provided. Here it shows that real numbers consist of rational numbers and irrational numbers. The integers, whole numbers as well as natural numbers comes under the heading rational numbers. The second one is complex numbers. Complex numbers are the numbers which have both real and imaginary part. Complex numbers are generally represented as a plus bi or a plus ib, where a is the real part and bi is the imaginary part. A and b are real numbers. For example, 3 plus 2i, 5 minus 3i, etc. Here, the value of I is given as root of minus 1 and I square is equal to minus 1. The next category of numbers is rational numbers. The rational numbers can be written in the form p by q, where q is not equal to 0, which means the numerator p as well as denominator q are integers and the denominator should not be equal to 0. For example, 3 by 5, 5, etc. You may be wondering why this 5 comes under the category of rational numbers. It is because 5 can be written in the form 5 by 1. Similarly, 100, 500 and all comes under this category because these all can be written in the form 100 by 1 or 500 by 1. Any recurring decimal can be expressed as a fraction of the form p by q, and hence it is a rational number. Recurring decimal means it is a number which is repeating continuously. For example, 0.222 etc., 0.131313 etc., 0.45555 etc. Now look into the table provided. Rational number given in the decimal form. First one is 0.3. It is a rational number because it can be written in the form 3 by 10. Similarly, 0.0007 can be written in the form 7 by 1000. As well as minus 5.9 can be written in the form 59 by 10. Hence, these all comes under the category of rational numbers. Next is irrational numbers. The numbers which are not rational comes under the category of irrational numbers. It should also be represented in the number line. Irrational numbers cannot be expressed as the ratio of two integers, that is in the form of p by q. For example, root 2, root 3, root 5, root 17, pi, etc. These all comes under the category of irrational numbers because the decimal points are not repeating, but it is continuously going. You can check it out with the values provided there. Pi is equal to 3.14159 etc. But the decimal points are never repeating here. Similarly, the values of e, root 2, root 17 etc. So here one of the important property to remember is that decimals never repeat, as well as decimals never end in the case of irrational numbers. Now, in this slide, some of the examples of real numbers are given. First set is rational numbers and the second set is irrational numbers. Rational numbers means those numbers which can be written in the form of p by q, isn't it? So, look at the examples. 7 by 8, 1 by 3, 0.97, etc. Why 0.97 comes here? Because it can be written in the form 97 by 100. Similarly, some of the examples of irrational numbers are also shown. Next category of numbers is integers. Integers can be positive, negative or zero. It can also be represented in the form of a number line as shown in the figure. The set of integers is generally denoted by the letter I. So, the value of integers is I is equal to set of minus infinity etc. minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. infinity. So, integers can be defined as the sum of whole numbers and negative numbers. That is, whole numbers plus negative numbers gives integers. Now, fractions. Fractions are a kind of rational numbers which can be represented in the form p by q, where p and q are real numbers and q is not equal to 0. That is, the denominator should not be 0. When a unit is divided into any number of equal parts, those parts are called fraction of the unit. For example, when a piece of cake is cut into 3 equal parts and 2 parts are taken, then we can say that that fraction is 2 by 3, which is represented in the figure using violet color, because that cake is divided into 3 parts and the 2 parts shown in violet color is selected. That means 2 by 3. Now let us see the types of fractions. Fractions are of 3 types: proper fractions, improper fractions as well as mixed fractions. First one is proper fractions. In proper fractions, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. That is, the top number is lesser than the bottom number. For example, 1 by 3, 5 by 8, etc. Second one is improper fraction. Improper fraction is just opposite of proper fraction, which means the denominator will be bigger than the numerator. For example, 7 by 3, 4 by 3, etc. The third category is mixed fraction. The mixed numbers will be a combination of whole numbers and a proper fraction. Example, 3 and 5 by 7, 2 and 4 by 9, etc. Next is whole numbers. Whole numbers are the set of numbers that comes from 0 to positive infinity. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. They do not have any decimal or fractional part. It can also be represented in a number line as shown in the figure. The set of whole numbers is mathematically represented by W, and W is equal to set of 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. From this figure you can understand that the natural numbers are included in this set of whole numbers. Now comes the negative numbers. Negative numbers includes the values from minus infinity to minus 1 or reverse minus 1 to minus infinity. They also do not have any fractional part or decimal part as we discussed earlier. Next is natural numbers. Natural numbers are also known as counting numbers or positive numbers. These are the numbers that we use in our daily life. It includes the values from 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. Natural numbers can be defined as the set of positive integers, that is, integers from 1 to infinity, excluding fractional and decimal part. They can also be defined as the set of whole numbers excluding 0. Natural numbers are generally represented by the letter capital N, and N is equal to set of whole 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. The key points to remember is the smallest natural number is 1 and 0 is not a natural number. As we said earlier, natural numbers are divided into 6 headings, that is even numbers, odd numbers, prime numbers, coprime numbers, composite numbers and perfect numbers. So the first category of natural numbers is even numbers. Even numbers can be defined as those numbers which are divisible by 2. An even number usually ends with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. The product of the numbers where at least one number is even will always be even. The list of even numbers from 1 to 100 is shown in the figure. While checking with these numbers, you can understand that all these even numbers end with the numbers 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8 as we said earlier. Next is odd numbers. The numbers which are not divisible by 2 is known as odd numbers. In other words, odd numbers can be defined as the numbers which leave 1 as a remainder when divided by 2. The product of two odd numbers will always be odd. Odd numbers ends in 1, 3, 7 or 9. You can check it out with the table provided below. Here you can see that all the odd numbers end with the numbers 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9. Now comes prime numbers. Prime numbers are also a set of natural numbers. The speciality of prime numbers is that it has only two factors, that is 1 and that number itself. Any number other than 1 which does not have any factor apart from 1 and the number itself is called a prime number. For example, the first 5 prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7 and 11 because for all these numbers there are only two factors. Considering the number 5, the factors of 5 are 1 and 5. That means 1 and that number itself. Now you may have a doubt that is 1 a prime number? 1 is not a prime number because 1 have only one factor. For being a prime number, a number should have two factors. But here 1 does not have 2 factors and hence 1 is not a prime number. The examples of prime numbers up to 100 is shown in the figure. Next category is coprime numbers. Coprime numbers are also known as relatively prime numbers. Two numbers are said to be coprime or relatively prime if they do not have any common factor other than 1. You can understand it easily by seeing the example shown below. Considering two numbers 15 and 8. The factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5 and 15 because 1 into 15 equal to 15 and 3 into 5 equal to 15. Similarly, we have to consider the factors of the number 8. Factors are 1, 2, 4 and 8 because 1 into 8 equals 8 as well as 2 into 4 equals 8. Considering these two examples, we can easily understand that the only common factor is 1. So this kind of numbers is said to be coprime. Now, composite numbers. Composite numbers can be defined as those kind of natural numbers which are having more than 2 factors. For example, the integer 14 is a composite number because it has the factors 1, 14, 2, 7 and it is the product of the two smaller integers, either 2 into 7 or 1 into 14. The list of composite numbers from 1 to 100 is shown in the figure. The final category of natural numbers is the perfect number. A number is said to be a perfect number if the sum of all the factors of that number excluding that number equals same number. For example, 6 has the factors 1, 2, 3 and 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 6. That means the sum of all the factors excluding the same number gives that number itself. Now look into the table provided. You can see the important 4 perfect numbers. First one is 6. The positive factors of 6 is 1, 2, 3 and 6. Sum of all factors excluding itself is 6 because 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. Then the next perfect number is 28. The positive factors of 28 are 1, 2, 4, 7, 14 and 28. Let us take the sum of the factors excluding itself, that is 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 14, which is equal to 28. So 28 is a perfect number. Similarly, 496 as well as 8128 is also a perfect number. From this portion, you can expect a question. Which is the only one digit perfect number? The answer is 6. Which is the only 2 digit perfect number? The answer is 28. Similarly, the rest of the 2. Here comes the end of the session. So let us rewind once again. The important types of numbers are real numbers and complex numbers. Real numbers are again divided into 2 categories. Rational numbers as well as irrational numbers. Rational numbers are of 2 categories, integers and fractions. Integers are divided into whole numbers and negative numbers. Fractions are divided into proper fractions, improper fractions as well as mixed fractions. Whole numbers are divided into natural numbers and 0. Natural numbers are again subdivided into 6 categories, that is even numbers, odd numbers, prime numbers, coprime numbers and perfect numbers. That's all for today's session. Thank you.